Today, I'm going to give you the best options available for draft beer monitoring systems. Because of all the liquids out there, the liquor, the beer, and the wine, draft beer is the toughest one to track and inventory because of their long draft lines and all the foam you have to deal with. All right, how y'all doing today? Dave Allred, the Real Barman here from barpatrol.net. And so you know, at Bar Patrol, the way we track and inventory kegs is we weigh them, okay, just like you would a liquor bottle. Okay, we have all the full and empty keg weights for you, except you can't use the Bluetooth scale for kegs. Okay, that's for liquor and wine bottles. A keg would crush it. For kegs though, you don't even need to buy a keg scale, which is great because they can be very expensive, like 250 bucks. Okay, instead, you just get a $20 digital bathroom scale at Target or Walmart, and you put the keg on there, you get the weight, and you enter the pounds into Bar Patrol app, and it knows exactly how much is left in the keg based on the full and empty weight of the keg. All right, so it's quite effective. But Bar Patrol is not one of the systems I'm talking about today. You can check us out at barpatrol.net though if you are looking for a complete inventory system. Okay, instead, the draft beer monitoring systems I'll be giving you today specialize specifically in draft beer pours because accounting for foam is another beast. So if you have a lot of draft beers or you're a brewery, you might want to take it to another level and get yourself a monitoring system specifically built for draft beers. Okay, and within these three systems, I'm going to try to give you a few options depending on what type of establishment you have. And just so you know, I'm not an affiliate for any of these systems. I have no dog in the fight. Okay, I just want to help you find the best system for you and your business. Okay, because I rock. All right, and so do you. All right, okay, so we're going to start off with number one on the list. These are not in any order from best to worst. Okay, they're just random order. Number three on the list is actually my favorite. Okay, but let's start with the first one. I'll have the links in the description for you as well. The first one is BevCheck by Sculpture Hospitality, okay, which is a horrible name in my opinion. Okay, not BevCheck, Sculpture Hospitality. Okay, they used to be called Bev & Co., which isn't great either, but either way, it's better than Sculpture Hospitality, which sounds like a company specializing in horrible art gallery shows or something. But we can't do anything about that, so I'll move off. I'm getting off track here. Okay, and I don't mean to be putting them down because their BevCheck system is actually quite good. Okay, so let's look at the technology first. The way it works is they have inline flow meters, and BevCheck installs these precision flow sensors on each faucet to measure every ounce poured. Okay, this means they can track in real time exactly what's being poured by your bartenders. Okay, they also have line cleaning monitors, so the sensors detect when the lines haven't been cleaned by tracking residual flow anomalies. That's a hard word to say. They also have temperature and pressure monitoring, so you will get an alert if your cooler or your CO2 levels, if they drift outside their ideal ranges, you'll get an alert. And then they have a cloud dashboard and mobile app, which means that the data streams live to both like a browser-based portal as well as their iOS or their Android app. Okay, that way you can see per tap usage, the pour cost, the shrinkage, and your alerts all in real time, okay, which is pretty cool. They also claim to integrate with more than 150 POS systems, okay, and I can't verify that personally, but that's pretty impressive. Okay, they've been around a long time, so I'm sure they've spent time doing that. And then their reports, like I mentioned, they're going to provide you with the usage and the variance so you can track your losses. Okay, they also have digital menus where you can update draft lists on either TVs or phones. And in addition, the local Bev & Co. or Sculpture Hospitality dealers, they're going to perform a free draft audit for you, and then they'll install the hardware and they will configure everything to your account so you're not left hanging. Okay, for pricing, BevCheck has pricing tiers. They're actually not bad. They're one of the more affordable ones out there for how good of a system they have. If you go to their pricing page, you can see everything you get here in each tier. The price ranges from $59 a month to $149 per month, plus $5 per month per tap. So if you have 20 taps, that's another $100 per month, okay, in case you suck at math. They also have an upfront hardware purchase option. You can pay $1,000 for setup, as well as $100 per tap, and a flat monthly subscription fee of $175 per month. And with that $175 per month, you get all the tiers and the features unlocked. Okay, that's if you're ready to invest for the long haul. Okay, now The downside of BevCheck is it can be a bit pricey, but most of these systems are going to be pricey, so get used to it. Also, they require a 2-year contract, which I don't love. Okay, I think contracts suck. If you don't like the system, you're stuck in a pile of shit and quicksand that you can't swim out of. All right, there have also been reports of occasional downtime where the flow meter and the network glitches interrupt the data. Okay, but in the end, BevCheck is going to actually quite reasonable for everything you get. You can add taps for only $5 per month per tap, so you can start off slow and grow if you choose. Okay, for a draft beer system, I'm giving BevCheck a B+. All right, number 2 on the list is BarTrack, which is a very nice and sophisticated system that uses ultrasound sensors that simply clip onto each tap line. Okay, so there's no turbines, there's no spouts, and it actually uses sound waves to measure flow volume and also the foam profile. It tracks the temperature and the line cleanliness on every single pour. Once you get live, you get real-time inventory tracking. You can see exactly how much beer remains in each keg and the consumption rates right in the BarTrack mobile app or on the cloud dashboard. Okay, it can also monitor temperature deviations, pressure shifts, foam height consistency, and it can even detect unrun pour events, which they call it unrun pour events, which is very confusing, but it basically means if a beer is being poured but no sales being rung in, then you're gonna know about it. Okay, that's getting really detailed there, which is a good thing. All right, in addition, their reporting highlights, who, what, when, where, and how waste occurs. And I'm talking like a complete transparency for you with clear KPI visuals. Okay, you can also sync pour data to your POS to nail down your pour cost versus your revenue accuracy, as well as set up real-time alerts for low keg levels, the temperature and the pressure alarms and the line cleanliness reminders, all of that. Okay, and they also have digital draft menus like BevCheck, so you can post live tap lists and pour costs to your TVs or mobile devices. You may have seen these when you're out at a brewery that has this system. Okay, it looks something like this, and you can see the list of beers and the keg levels. It's very chic, in my opinion. When I go out to a bar and I see that thing, I just kind of stare at it. Excuse me. For pricing, you're gonna have to schedule a demo with them because everything is supposedly customized based on your situation. I do know that BarTrack will be fairly pricey, so just be prepared for that. Overall, I would give BarTrack an A for a grade. They're really good, but with the expense of it all, I think it's gonna be a little more expensive than BevCheck. I'm gonna drop it to a B+. All right, just like BevCheck. All right, and then moving on to number 3 on the list, I'm including this one because I think it's quite amazing, okay? But again, it is a bit pricey. And again, if you're looking for a professional draft system, it's going to be costly. But after this, I will give you a website that has some cost-effective alternatives for you to consider so you can decide, what's best for you. Okay, for now, number 3 is Cervisi Draft Beer System. And so get this. Cervisi is a bottom-filling draft pour dispenser. Okay, see here. It has fast pour technology. It pours twice as fast as normal draft lines, and it eliminates almost all foam issues. Okay, in fact, it has a 98% yield, which is remarkable. And I'm going to share with you just how remarkable in just a moment. Okay, and as you can see, you press the bottom of the glass to the dispenser, and it fills up faster than a speeding bullet. Okay, faster than you can say Lagunitas. Now, you would think that this would not be hygienic, right? Pushing the glass down there every time, but they've taken care of all that. Okay, I'm gonna read this to you instead of trying to explain it. It uses a sealed FDA grade fill nozzle and proprietary UV-free LEDs that cycle on to inhibit bacteria, mold, and yeast growth. Then switch off during pours to protect beer flavor. Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay, they've made it completely hygienic. In addition, you can preset the pours so if you have different beer glass sizes, so it pours perfectly every time. Your bartenders basically don't need to have any skill to pour these beers. Okay, a lot of draft beer systems, the foam is really bad. You got to be really good at tilting the glass, making sure everything is good. If you are an experienced bartender, you can get good at that, but here, no experience needed. Okay, they also have analytics and alerts built in, which you can view on a dashboard so you can track each pour by time, volume, cumulative keg yield, as well as remaining keg volume, the beer temperature, the gas pressure, the line obstructions, all of that. Okay, the downside is that they do not integrate with any POS system, so you're not going to be able to measure variance, what was sold versus what was poured. You just get the yield numbers. Okay, also, it is dependent on power and network, so outages will halt dispensing. Okay, but the Cervisi team does set this up and installs everything, so this is a rare occurrence. Okay, for pricing, this is going to range depending on what you need. All right, so don't quote me on this, but just to give you an idea, if you have 8 to 12 taps, Cervisi could run you around $8,000 to $12,000, so $1,000 per tap. That's a ballpark figure. Okay, you'll need to speak with them about it. And I know it's expensive. Okay, but if you look at the yield, the average draft beer system is only getting like 75% yield. Cervisi is giving you 98% yield, so a 23% increase on your yield. Okay, this is where it gets interesting. At least for me, because I'm a total math geek when it comes to making money and profits. So let me walk you through this really quick. I think you're gonna like this. Let's say that you spend $10,000 on Cervisi system, okay? And it might be more or less, so don't send me angry emails or death threats if your quote is different. This is just an example, okay? So chill out. Let's say you invest $10,000 with Cervisi with a 23% yield increase. So the question is, how many beers would you have to pour in order to get that $10,000 back? Okay, well, if the average beer costs you $1.50 wholesale to pour, okay, I'm not gonna go specifically over the math and the formula, but here is a quick screenshot of it all worked out. And what the math says is that you would basically need to pour 21,305 beers in order to get your money back. Okay, and I know that might sound insane, but if you pour just 100 beers per day, which is the low estimate for most draft beer places or most breweries. Okay, they usually pour more than that, but even then it would take you 213 days or about 7 months to get your money back. Okay, now, if you pour 200 beers a day, okay, which is more realistic, we're talking 3.5 months to get your money back just based on the yield you're saving, the foam. Okay, that's crazy. That means every 3.5 months you're saving $10,000 on yield. Okay, not just the first 3.5 months, every 3.5 months. Okay, for me, that's worth the investment. Think how much that's gonna save you over 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. Okay, it's $35,000 per year savings just in yields. Over 5 years, that's $175,000. Okay, not to mention the speed with which you can pour and how easy it's gonna be for your bartenders. All right, give me a break. This is definitely my favorite system. Again, I'm not an affiliate, but I might become one because I wanna sell this system. I think it's fantastic. All right. While I'm thinking about it, the only other system you might wanna look at is the Tap 2 by Berg. Okay, I'm just giving you this information so you can look at everything, but I'm a little leery of the Berg brand overall. Like if you go to their website, it looks like it was built back in 1982 and was never updated, okay, which might not be that big a deal for some companies, but this is a technology company we're talking about, dealing with high-tech systems that they're trying to sell to you, and their website is a piece of crap? Like, how do I trust you? All right, look at this. I mean, look at the layout. They have pictures on here that look so old. They have videos on here that don't even work. Their copyright says 2021. They haven't updated that in 4 years. Like, who's running this company? I don't know that I can trust a technology company that's okay with this cluttered website representing them. It's like hiring a maid only to find out she's a hoarder with a filthy house. All right, that might be going too far, but you get the analogy. Okay, in addition, Berg is also like $10,000 for 10 taps up front before subscription fees, so it's pricey as well. All right, so why would you not just go with Cervisi instead? Okay, really, I'm not even sure why I brought it up in the first place. I'm regretting it now, but I like for you to be able to make your own decisions. You're a big person now, and it's time that I think I kick you out of the nest and allow you to make your own decisions and your own mistakes. All right, but to finish up, if you're looking to shoestring this draft beer thing, I told you I'd give you a website. You can go to alcoholcontrols.com, and they have a bevy of tools you can find, like this draft beer counter, among other things. I'm not gonna take you on a tour of the website. You can look around yourself. And if you don't like any of these options, you can go with Bar Patrol Inventory app, which, like I said, we weigh the kegs, and it still gives you a very accurate inventory level of your draft beer. and it's only $49 per month for a complete inventory system. Okay, I'll leave that up to you as well. All right, so I hope this helped you some. If you have a system that you use or you like, go ahead and leave it in the comments for all of us to see. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I am going to see you next time. I'm out.